Hey, imagine you've been scrolling through endless laptop listings, trying to find something that can actually keep up with your weekend gaming marathons, your day-long coding sessions, and still fit in the bag you already own. I've been in that exact spot lately, and I know how tricky it is to separate hype from the stuff that really matters when you're about to drop a few $100s. If you're on the fence about the ASUS ROG Zephyrus G14, keep listening. I am going to walk through the real-world pros and cons so you can walk away knowing whether this machine is worth the cash. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, let's talk about the size. The G14 is a 14-inch laptop, which sounds almost too small for a gaming rig, but that's where the magic happens. The chassis is light enough to toss into a backpack, and the 3K OLED screen gives you crisp colors without the bulk of a 15-inch beast. For me, that means I can swing from the coffee shop where I code in Python to a friend's place for a quick just one match session without feeling like I'm lugging a mini desktop. The display's OLED panel shines especially when you fire up titles with vivid art direction. Think Elden Ring Sunrise or Cyberpunk 2077 Neon Streets because the deep blacks actually make the lighting pop. It's a pleasant surprise when the screen stays punchy even at lower brightness, which is great for those late-night sessions when you don't want to disturb anyone. Performance is where the Zephyrus really flexes. Under the hood you've got an AMD Ryzen 9 processor that basically sits in the same performance tier as Intel's i9-12900H. Pair that with an RTX 5060 GPU and you've got a combo that handles most modern titles at high settings without screaming for more power. I ran Shadow of the Tomb Raider at 1440p, medium-high settings, and the frame rate stayed comfortably in the 6070 frames per second range. What's noteworthy is that the laptop does this while keeping the fan noise to a tolerable hum, nothing like the aggressive whirring you hear on larger, cooler-heavy models. The thing is, if you're planning to push every title to 4K ultra-high settings, this isn't the card that will keep you there. The RTX 5060 is a step below the RTX 3070, so you'll need to dial some settings back. But for 1080p 1440p gaming, especially on a 3K screen, it's more than enough. Now, let's dig into the everyday use case. The Zephyrus ships with 16GB of DDR5 RAM and a massive 1TB SSD. In practice, that means you can have your development environment, a few virtual machines, and a couple of large game installs all running side by side without the system dragging its feet. I've loaded Visual Studio Code, Docker, and a handful of game libraries simultaneously, and the laptop handled the switchovers without a hiccup. The SSD's speed translates to near-instant boot times, and when you're moving massive game assets like the huge textures in Starfield, the load screens feel noticeably shorter than on older SATA drives. One of the hidden trade-offs comes from the keyboard. ASUS gave it an RGB backlit layout, which looks cool in a dim room, but the keys themselves have a slightly softer travel than you might find on a mechanical board. For fast-paced shooters, you might miss the crisp click of a mechanical switch, but the trade-off is a quieter typing experience if you're in a shared space. The layout is standard, and the key spacing feels comfortable for long typing sessions, so it won't be a blocker for most people who are looking for a hybrid work game laptop. Battery life is another point that often trips people up. With a high-performance CPU and GPU, the G14 can't claim a 12-hour marathon on a single charge. In my testing, I got roughly 5 hours of mixed usage, some coding, a bit of web browsing, and a short gaming segment. That's decent for a gaming laptop of this class, but don't expect it to replace your office laptop for a full day of meetings. If you need all-day unplugged performance, you'll have to carry the charger or consider a secondary battery pack. Who should buy this machine? If you're a creator-developer who also enjoys gaming on the side, the Zephyrus offers a sweet spot between portability and raw power. The OLED screen will please anyone who works with visual media, photo editing, video work, even color grading, because those deep blacks and vibrant highlights are real-world benefits, not just marketing buzz. The 1TB SSD gives you room to store large project files without constantly juggling external drives. And if you travel a lot, the 14-inch form factor and light chassis make it a realistic companion for both work and play. Who should skip it? If you're an esports competitor who demands the absolute highest frame rates at 1080p, You might feel limited by the RTX 5060 and the laptop's thermals under sustained load. The fan can keep temperatures in check for moderate sessions, but during marathon matches it will ramp up, and you'll notice.